Welcome to the Transformational podcast, a conversation between brothers about practical ways faith is impacting our lives. If you are inspired through this episode, please leave a review and share this podcast with others. We hope you will join us on this journey as we are learning to let faith change the way we live.
Welcome to the Transformational podcast. You got myself, the Marine from Maryland, and Chris, the pastor from Paradise. We're so glad you are joining us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey, it is, it's awesome. It's humbling to see what God's doing with the podcast. We're glad that you're joining us. We ask you to, obviously share it with your friends. If it's something that you like, share it with us. Talk to us about it. We like that. And frankly, what we hope is that the podcast generates a closer walk, a deeper, meaningful relationship with the Father. That's really what we're sharing with you. Obviously, we do kind of like the order of the podcast. We like to catch up and see what's been going on in the week. And legit, we don't actually even talk to each other before we get on the show. And you know that because we both showed up in the same shirt again on this podcast.
Yeah.
And Chris, you know what's funny about this?
Twinning is winning, Robert. Come on.
Dude, you know what's funny about this? Seriously.
What's that?
I legit went into my drawer and I'm like, well, let's not pick that one because he'll wear that one and I'll wear this one. So I'm not going to get the needs more grace. I'm going to wear this one. So I won't be having
needs
the same
more
shirt.
Grace. It's not needs more grace. It's everyone needs grace, bro. Yours might need to say needs more grace, but I'm just saying that's not.
Anyway,
that's funny.
To my surprise, here we are, same shirt. But so if you're watching, you can see the same shirt. It was pretty funny. This shirt doesn't, Chris. That one doesn't look like it shrunk though, so that's good. Last week's looked like it shrank. That one looks like it's your size. What's been going on with you, man?
Man, we have been rocking and rolling. Football started this week for Barrett. We're in full get ready for school mode. Last Sunday night, we had our leadership summit. Hey, what did I say we were going to do that I might tell you more about this week? I can't remember now.
You were talking about the last week's going into the your Sunday and then into like Monday. You went into it was Saturday night. You went to, was it Saturday night that you went to the?
Yes, it was the
the concert.
There it is. I was like, wait a minute. I know I said I was going to report back. It was amazing. Incredible concert.
I saw pictures on it. I saw lots of photos, lots of people posting. Cool. It must have been in an area where I had friends because lots of friends went. I didn't see any photos from you. I didn't see any videos from you. I didn't see anything from you.
I don't do a whole lot
actually.
of that anymore, but Julie's the one who does that stuff if it happens. So, it was amazing. It was incredible. I actually saw a guy that I listen to a lot on his podcast, Josh Howardson. Literally got to meet him.
I was running into him. I saw he had posted that he was there with his kids.
Yeah, how crazy is that? Yeah, so I ran in to him for just a second. So it was cool to say hi to him. But yeah, it was great. He does a great show. It was the last one of the tour. He got a lot of kids sponsored. He's partnered with World Vision to try to doing a great job just trying to make a great push. So thought he did a really good job and enjoyed it. But, dude, I was rolling into church on 4.5 hours of sleep the next morning.
Were you preaching? Because that would have been all over the place.
Dude, I was preaching.
You were all over the place.
God gave me grace, bro. Lots of strength.
Yeah.
And then also Barrett was leading worship that morning for the first time on a Sunday morning in the East Auditorium.
Wow, cool, man.
Which is so cool. He kind of took it on himself to just go to the worship leader. He leads worship some in the student ministry and just said, hey, if you ever, if you ever need a guy, I'd be interested in
I'm here
helping. And so our worship leader started working with them and stuff. But it was awesome, man. We got there and we had a great Sunday. And then Sunday night we had nearly 500 ministry leaders show up for our leadership summit.
That's right.
People who serve and people who want to serve. And so it was pretty good.
You call your folks who serve in your church ministry
leaders,
right?
Ministry leaders, because it comes a little bit from Ephesians 4:8, where it says the leaders of the church, their job is to equip people to do the work, to do the ministry. And so our job is here to equip people to do the ministry of the church. And so we call them ministry leaders because they're out there leading the ministry. So it was great, dude. It was a good week. It's been busy this week because I've been getting ready for this weekend, but also we are doing a series, a spiritual campaign in October, November, starts in September through October.
Okay.
We're going to walk through the book of Ephesians, but when we do this,
I like Ephesians.
We do like Sunday morning, and then we'll do a small group curriculum that we're doing in house this time. Like I had to write all 8 sessions of that video sessions so that we can send the guide to the printer, because we'll do a booklet for it that you have during the whole thing. I mean, it seemed like last year we used somebody else's material and it worked great. We just tweaked it for our use, the way that I would preach it or whatever. But this year I was like, man, I think we'll take a shot. And we did. And I think it's going to be great. But at the same time, dude, I'm telling you, I felt like I was because I came up on the deadline and had to get a lot done. I felt like I was in seminary again, and I waited till the end of the semester to work on my research project, dude. I mean, I was glued.
It didn't sneak up on you, but it probably did.
Yeah. I mean, I was always working on it. I just wasn't taking enough ground. And so when it got to the end, I was like, all right, this is it.
That's what happens a lot of times, right? It's like, actually, so I've been working on my truck, right? Okay. Yeah. And I'm replacing head gaskets. It's the second time I've gotten into the truck. This is a 2008, for those who are wondering, it's a 2008 Chevy Silverado. Chevy Silverado had a mechanism that shut down 4 of the cylinders. Turned out there's a little bit of a design flaw there. And so, Chris, about 100,000 miles ago, and that was probably 2000, I don't know, probably almost 10 years ago, a little less than, I replaced the camshaft and I deleted that system, right?
Yeah.
Well, in doing that, I learned a lot. First of all, I forgot a lot. That's actually what I would tell you. So today I went out and I'm going to replace the head gasket. It's got a head gasket leak, I can tell. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to replace that. I can pull the headers off, whatever. Dude, you know what I forgot? I didn't forget how to do it. What I forgot is how much work goes into it, how long it takes, and how tedious taking all the little pieces and parts and all of that stuff off. And so I worked on that for quite some time today. In fact, it was so hot that I was completely soaked to water. And actually, when I sat down after I was all said and done, I realized that I probably let myself go a little on the hot side. You know what I mean? Like a little on the hot side.
When you're getting to your age, you really got to watch that, bro.
Hey, Chris, guys like us, born in the 1900s, guys like us, born in the 1900s.
Oh, dude.
Oh, that is the joke of the house right now.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, so anyway,
a phrase that I'm stealing straight from Josh Howardson.
What?
I've used it so many times. I'm an 80s baby, but the 90s made me. So there we go.
I like it. No credit to him after the third time you use it. You just use it.
I don't have to give him credit after 3 times?
Yeah, after 3 times, you can just take it.
It becomes mine. Got it.
Yeah, it becomes yours.
Well, cool, dude.
I got one other thing.
Yeah.
Did a little travel this week, and then what was really neat, and this is kind of one of those times where, and it's just funny, I got to this hotel, and because I do travel quite a bit, I have the high standard, high whatever it is, membership with Hilton.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's just an indication
of
how much.
Roll out the red carpet. Here he comes.
It's an indication how much I travel. But here's what's funny, Chris.
Yeah.
So I get there, and they hand me my key, and it says PH08. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I get my thing. I go into the elevator, and I hit 8 because, that's what I'm going. So I get off on the 8th floor, and it's like 8, 100 and whatever. And I'm looking down, and I look at my key card, and it says PH0. I'm like, what the heck is PH?
Penthouse.
And then I realize it's a penthouse.
Wow, dude.
Back on the thing.
Look at you get upgraded.
I get back on the thing and go, yeah, I got upgraded. Didn't even realize it. I just wanted to tell you that because it's pretty funny.
That is
I called
cool.
back, and I told Hillary. Hillary's like, why did you tell me that? I go, because I had to tell somebody. She's like, are you rubbing it in? I was like, no, I just need to tell somebody.
Did you go in and jump on the bed like you Home Alone? Too?
No. Oh, okay. Actually, I went in and sat down. I was really boring. I went down and sat down and worked. But that's what I do. But anyway, yeah. And then I got a big week this week. Got a big 3-star summit coming up. Lots of interest, a lot of nervousness in the office. I told somebody this week that my job is to try to keep everybody's nerves totally down, keep everybody calm. like August 14th is going to come and 13th will be behind us. So everybody, number one rule in our program office is, and everybody will say, I say number one in the program office, rule in the program office is, and everybody will say, we don't freak out. And I go, that's right. We don't freak out. And it's like, so August 14th will be here and we'll move on.
Isn't that a rule you have with your kids too?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. You know why we don't freak out, Chris?
I don't know. I don't know what your response is, but I know why, but go ahead and say it.
Because that's how people get hurt.
Oh, there you go.
We don't freak out because that's how people get hurt.
Yeah, anyway. I literally just had a moment with our boys where I was like, hey, when things happen,
freak out because that's how people get hurt. That's right.
Panic
anyway,
doesn't fix anything.
You had something you're reading in Hebrews.
Yes.
I'm definitely looking forward to discussing it. We almost started too early, so let's jump in.
So can we back it up to Hebrews 4:14 because it's really where this discussion really starts. Backing up.
I might be punch drunk tonight. We can't both be.
Well, listen,
all right, go ahead.
That's on you, bro. All right, ready? Here we go. So just reading time with God. I'm in Hebrews right now. Okay. Hebrews 4, starting with verse 14. I'm just going to read through and we'll just hit it. All right. Commentary here or there. All right. But it says, so then, since we have such a great high priest who has entered heaven, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold firmly to what we believe. I love this part. This high priest of ours understands our weaknesses, for he faced all of the same testings we do, yet did not sin. So let us come boldly to the throne of our gracious God.
Yep.
And here's why, because there we will receive his mercy and we will find grace to help us when we need it most, because everyone needs grace. All right. So,
yes, they do.
So he kind of begins talking about this foundation, and actually it even starts earlier than that a little bit, but he starts leaning into this idea of a high priest. And then he goes into chapter 5 and explains it. But our high priest, remember, is Jesus. He experienced the same amount of temptation, yet did not sin, which puts him in a place where he can, or it gives us the place where we can come boldly to the throne of grace, right? Because he understands our weakness, faces all the same testings, and so he understands what we're going through. Love it, right? So then he goes to chapter 5, says, every high priest is a man chosen to represent other people in their dealings with God. He presents their gifts to God and offers sacrifice for sins. He's able to deal gently. That's talking about Jesus. With ignorant and wayward people, because I'm sorry. No, that's not talking about Jesus. It's talking about the normal high priest. Because he himself is subject to the same weakness. That's why he must offer sacrifices for his own sins as well as theirs. So the normal high priest, he could deal gently because he's been there and done that and had to offer sacrifice.
He's like, man, I got it. I feel it.
It says, and no one, and I like this part because I think this is important. I'm going to make a point here. No one can become a high priest simply because he wants such an honor. He must be called for this work, just as Aaron was. Now, I'm going to pause there and just say, before we go any further, in the Old Testament, all the priests had to come from the tribe of Levi.
Yep.
But Jesus came from the tribe of Judah. You ever thought about that?
Oh, yeah.
It's a big deal, right?
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Because
in Jesus, he's going to bring the priesthood and the kingship into one person.
Yes.
Jesus. Go ahead.
That's the big deal. Well, explain that. The kingship side.
The kingship side, because all the kings came through the line of Judah. In fact, God made a promise to David and said, hey, from this point on, the king, the ultimate king, the forever king will come through your line. And as you kind of follow the line of Judah, you kind of watch David's sons, or his, the folks that followed him. And some of them are not that great and some of them are okay, but it kind of dwindles because they're all earthly and human as it goes off. But then you find in David and Mary where it actually connects back to David. And so now you see like, okay, Jesus is in the line of David. He's in the line of Judah. He is actually going to be the king that God promised David when He promised David to make his line the forever line. So that's the kingship that Jesus has through the line of David through Judah.
And it's incredible because yes, that's the background that we're walking into this. All right. So it goes that Christ did not honor himself by assuming he could become a high priest. No, he was chosen by God, who said to him, "You are my son. Today I become your father." Then in another passage, God said to him, "You are a priest forever in the order of Melchizedek." Did you know Melchizedek, while there's still some wonder about everything about it, we know that he was a priest and a king. Genesis 14:18.
That's right.
He says, "You're from the line of Melchizedek." Now, there's a lot of questions about Melchizedek. Do you want to expand on that or explain that?
I don't know. I don't know how much you want to get into. I'll give you my kind of take on Melchizedek is the folks who study him and look on him. He had no beginning. He had no end. That's the way they describe him. In fact, Abraham, when he came back, he instituted the tithe by giving Melchizedek 10%. This is all pre-law. This is all frankly, pre-Egypt. I mean, this is all way, way early on. And so you have this king who comes out of nowhere, who's also a priest, and everybody kind of, I want to say they worship him, but they honor him as such. You get very little details on it, but he is clearly somebody who Abraham, God's chosen in time, Abram, feels like he needs to give an honor to him when he rescues, because that's what Abram did. He went and rescued Lot and some other folks. But anyway, that's kind of the whole story. But yeah, Melchizedek kind of comes out of nowhere, and then he kind of fades into nowhere. And then he gets honored even in Psalms, I think it's 110, which is where that's the reference Hebrews is touching. He's talking about 110 verse 4, where it says, "The Lord has taken an oath and will not break his vow. You are priest forever in the order of Melchizedek."
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. So just give a few other notes on Melchizedek.
Yeah, do it.
That he was the king of Salem and a priest of God Most High, right? So we see that Genesis 14:18, and Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High, all right? So that was unusual because kings and priests hold separate offices. Now, this was before Abraham and the line of Judah and the line of, right? But once Abraham came, right, you got the line of Judah, the king's line of Levi. But Melchizedek is both. His name means king of righteousness.
Right, I know. I forgot about
Salem
that. Yes.
is associated with peace. He's the king of peace, bro. He's the king of righteousness and the king of peace. Yes. Who is Jesus, right? He's king, right. So, and it just fulfills what. So Hebrews is directly applying these promises, these predictions of who Jesus would be, and he's saying, "Hey, this is him. This is who he is." And when he quotes Psalm 110 right there, "You are a priest in the order of Melchizedek," that's what he's talking about. So then he goes on and says, "While Jesus was here on earth, he offered prayers and pleadings with a loud cry and tears to the one who could rescue him from death." Check this out. "And God heard his prayers because of his deep reverence for God."
Yeah.
All right, dude, I paused. I wrote some stuff down.
Yeah, what'd you write down?
Okay.
There's a lot there.
Okay. He says, God heard his prayers. He's crying out, right, with a loud cry and tears to the one who could rescue him from death. Jesus was. I think Garden of Gethsemane, he goes out to, it says, "If there's any other way, will you take this cup of suffering away from me? If not not my will, but yours be done."
That's right.
And it says that God heard his prayers. Now, I pause there because I think sometimes when we are crying out to God, we're going, why is God not listening? Does he hear my prayer? Is this even working? Right?
Yeah. When it's interesting on that one, Chris, is that It says God heard his prayer because it's East reference, and said even though Jesus was God's son, he learned obedience from the things he suffered. Basically, God heard him. Ultimately, God answered his prayer because he was raised from the dead in 3 days, but he still had to walk that path of suffering. And because he walked that path of suffering, that's where he made himself the pure, righteous, sinless, perfect high priest, which it does go on to say in verse 9, because he obeyed him and God did hear him. He did answer his prayer. He answers prayer by being the first among the resurrected. By the way, Chris, fun fact, I was just reading 1 Corinthians 15 and Paul's kind of letter to the Corinthians. They're saying, there's no resurrection from the dead. He's like, there is resurrection from the dead, because if there weren't resurrection from the dead, this would be a really weird and meaningless religion.
We are the most to be pitied.
That's right. He says, no, Jesus, there was an order for it. Jesus rose from the dead first.
Yes.
And so God did hear him.
Yes.
And did bring him back to life.
Yeah. So he did rescue him from death, just not the way that so often. And I think that's important for us to realize. Sometimes we think God didn't answer our prayer, and maybe he just didn't do it the way we expected or wanted him to. But he still has our good in mind. And sometimes he does say, but when we pray and we cry out to God, do we have the same posture that Jesus had? But your will, not mine, be done. Right? That's what Jesus said. And so he does. It says verse 8.
Sometimes, Chris, can I real quick, I want to hang on that one for a second, because I had this was something that I walked through a little bit this week. Sometimes it's just confusing in the moment. If I were to be honest, there's times when God's doing something, we're praying, there's a bunch of things that smell like him, and you're like, I can see God working, and then like nothing pans out on the other side. And I'm just, and this is the thing that you can see with Jesus. I was honest with him, right? Jesus was very honest with God. He was, he was pleading loud, crying, tears, rescue me from this death, right? Yeah. He did. He rescued him from the death after he died on the cross. He rose from the dead. He was rescued from death. And so there was this moment this week where I was like, Lord, I have no idea what you're doing here. I was like, I don't know why we walked that road. I don't know why you had all these things kind of like line up. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. I still trust you. And so I'm kind of like, but I just got to be honest. Like, I don't know what was going on there. Yeah. And so I think it's important to recognize that Jesus was obedient, but in his obedience, he was also very honest about what he was walking through. Yeah. And I think he wants us to be that way too. I think that's a call to us to be very honest with what we're walking through and being honest with him, not with each other, not like, hey, Chris, let me tell you all these things. It's more like, no, hey, God, let me tell you these things. I think that's the important piece of it. Yeah. So he was honest with them. And here's what I love. Verse 8 says, even though Jesus was God's son, he learned obedience from the things he suffered. In this way, God qualified him as a perfect high priest. Pause. Okay. He learned obedience from the things he suffered, right? That he had to experience the true meaning of obedience in the face of suffering for him to be able to understand our trials, our struggles, our angst. He had to go through it so he can be the high priest who identifies with our struggles. And it makes me think of, James 1, where it says, consider pure joy when trials of various kinds come your way, because it's through your trials that produces perseverance. And after you persevere, you'll become perfected. In other words, you'll be made perfect for the role that God has for you to play. And so, I think sometimes we are calling out to God to save us from something, to fix something. The reality is God is less interested in our comfort and more interested in our calling. And sometimes he has to take us through those. I don't like that, Chris. I just want you to know. I want to be comfortable. I want to be comfortable. Right? Well, and the thing is, we live in a world that comfort is king, man. So yeah. No, but you're right. He less interested in our comfort and more interested in our calling, Chris. I like the way you said that. But because he was willing to go through the tough times, God qualified him. He became qualified as the perfect high priest, and he became the source of eternal salvation for all those who obey him. It says, and God designated him to be a high priest
in the order of Melchizedek. I love it when you begin to think about, because I may jump backwards. This is why I want to start here. Go back to 4:16.
Okay.
It says, so let us come boldly to the throne of our gracious God.
Yeah.
Or verse 15. Sorry. This high priest of ours understands our weakness, for he faced all the same testings we do, yet he did not sin. So let us come boldly to the throne of our gracious God. There we will receive his mercy, and we'll find grace to help it when we need it most. Robert, here's the thing. What keeps us from going to God? Is it guilt?
Oh, man.
Is it shame? Is it that we feel like we've screwed this up, so we've got to fix this first? Like, what causes us to, look, I'm reading a book called Awe of God. It's fantastic. Talks about a healthy fear of God. But we don't feel as if we can approach God because we go, or we don't feel like we can be used by God. We don't feel like we're worthy. We don't feel like, because we've messed up, because we've done these things. And literally Jesus is going, no. I've already taken care of that. And because of what I've done, and I understand, I can empathize with what you're going through. I can sympathize with your weakness because I experienced it. I experienced suffering. I experienced, and I chose to obey, but I understand where you're coming from. And man, I'm standing in the gap.
Absolutely.
You can approach the throne of God because of me. Right, because he's a priest's job was to stand between God and the people.
That's right.
Right. So when he became priest and king, he is sitting on the throne as God, the Son. Now we have access to God, and Jesus himself has become the access point, the one in which we are able to approach the throne of grace. So, dude, I don't know. When I was reading this week, I think the prayer part got me just a little bit. Because I'm looking, it goes, and Jesus himself is praying, crying out to God.
Right.
And God he didn't answer his prayer the way he asked him to.
Yeah. So
God heard his prayer. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, it makes me think, because I'm also right now I'm reading Job, and every time I read Job, I read Job's lament. So it's a lament, and sometimes he's not like fully right in what he says. He's obviously that gets addressed later on, but one of the things he like brings up kind of over and over is like, who will go before the throne on my behalf? Like, who will go before God on my behalf? Who will mediate for me? And every time I read it, I'm like, man, I was like, what would it have been like to have Jesus at this point, right?
Yeah.
Because that's who Jesus is. That's what Jesus does. So if Job had Jesus, it would have been a different path of suffering, because he would have had Jesus. In this case, Job, he ends up having a face-to-face conversation, or at least a conversation with the Lord. And he's like, my bad, I said too much. I will stop talking.
Yeah.
But when Job's crying out in that suffering, we can read over that kind of like, oh yeah, who is going to go on our behalf? Who is going to do this for us? And Chris, you're right. It's Jesus.
Yeah.
It's Jesus. That's how we get to go boldly before the throne. And you asked kind of one of the things, like what prevents us from going before him. And you're right on all the things, whether it's shame or the things that you mentioned. The one thing you missed is, I think sometimes we don't go before him because A, we may think we have it, and B, we maybe just, like I was mentioning earlier, we just don't see it turning out in the way we think it should.
Yeah.
And so when we don't see it turn out in the way we think it should, we're like, well, why would I go get something that's not what
we get mad at God, right?
That's right. Yeah. It's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what some of the things that get us too, is we just don't trust him.
One of the other things is it could come down to, we just don't have a relationship with him.
There you go.
You think about it, when your kids were little, you'd have them jump off the side of the pool or the diving board or whatever. They're not going to jump to some stranger. At least mine. Mine were. It was a struggle to get them to jump to me.
To you,
right? They're not jumping to some stranger. They're gonna jump to someone they know. And I think maybe some of the reason we struggle to go to it is there's some who about God, you just don't have a relationship with them. About Jesus. Maybe you're just learning about Jesus, and maybe you think because the way of all other religions is that I've got to do these things for God, so God will do these things for me. The reality is that Jesus flipped the script on all that. He said, I've already done everything that needs to be done so that you can come to me. And the reality is, you simply admit that you need him, that you've sinned. Sin's what broke our relationship with God. It's breaking God's laws. It's doing things our way instead of his. believe that, and when Jesus died on the cross, he was the sacrifice. He was the payment that once and for all paid for the sins of mankind. That's yours and that's mine.
Yes.
And that he didn't stay dead. He rose from the grave, just like he said he would. And he was seen by hundreds of eyewitnesses.
Yeah.
And then you come to a place where you choose to trust him with your life, that you follow him. It's actually a picture of surrender, that you say, I'm done living my way. I'm ready to live his way. And it's not about perfection, but it should lead to a change of direction, because
that's literally what I was thinking. I was dude, it's like, it's not about perfection. It's a change of direction.
Because it's a change in who calls the shots. And so I would say, man, if you have like this, feeling like, well, I can't go to God, there's no way I can go to God, I would just say, start there. Do you have a relationship with him? Because if you do have a relationship with him, you have a high priest who is able to understand your weaknesses, and he's faced all the testings. He's walked through the struggles and the suffering, and he knows where you are. And here's the deal: when you're walking through suffering, he cares.
Absolutely.
There's a few times that Jesus cried in Scripture. One is at the tomb of his friend Lazarus, right? It says
he knew what he was going to do. He knew he was going to raise him from the dead.
It's everybody's favorite memory verse. Jesus
because
wept,
it's easy,
right? But
what's the reference?
I've wondered, like why did he weep? Because I don't know if he didn't know yet that God was going to raise him from the dead. I don't know if he was waiting on God to, but here's why I wonder if he didn't weep, because he saw the brokenness that sin had brought into this world.
I think that's why.
And it crushed his spirit. It made
I think
him
he
sad.
knew that that's where it was going, because he talked about that with his disciples on the way.
Yeah.
Because he said he sleeps, and everybody's like, well, if he sleeps, he's going to be better. And so everybody's like, what are you talking about, Jesus? I truly believe he wept because it's not the way it was meant to be. That's not the design for the world. Before sin entered mankind entered the garden, and he wept. He wept because he cares. He wept because I was actually sitting next to one of my kiddos, and we were talking about Job 5, and I was like, what crummy friends. And and the first guy that talks, this is the difference between Jesus and like a crummy friend, right? The first guy that talks, he says, basically, because Job's lost everything, he's lost his kids, et cetera. And he says to Job, he goes, your kids must have sinned, so they had what they got what they deserved. They got what was coming to them. And I was like, what kind of wacko friend says that to him? Like, whereas Jesus sits next to you and says, basically, come here. Like, I love you.
Hug.
I love you. Bring it in. Yeah. Like, I feel your pain. I feel your hurt. I feel your sorrow. I walked in the shoes where I lost, just like you lost. And in fact, he still sits, and he has saints that get martyred on the behalf of him. And it's when Stephen, the first martyr, is martyred, it's the only time that God is seen standing from his throne, not sitting, standing from his throne because he cares, he sees him, he wants to be there, right? He's bringing him home. He's encouraging. So he does care. I think you see that here. I think his walking through this is actually one of the things that we can walk with as hey, when things stink, like God's been there. He cares. He loves you. He wants you to bring it before him. He wants to sit with him on it. I think one of the things you mentioned, it's not perfection, it's direction as far as that goes. I think sometimes we try to jump all the way to the end. We try to jump to a perfect, righteous relationship. I'm walking with some folks through some, we'll call it some spiritual disciplines. And I was trying to help this person see, it's not about the things you do. It's about putting your heart in a position to be changed from the inside, so that the outside is reflective of what's on the inside. You don't have to work on sin management because you don't want to sin.
Yeah, it just
you
changes
don't want
your
sin.
want to.
That's right. Anyway,
it's good stuff, Rob.
Hey, I just want to take a second and say thanks for listening. Thanks for those who tune in. Obviously, hit hit the bell. All that stuff helps us get this podcast in front of people who want to learn more about Jesus. I mean, we do this only because we think God's called us into this direction, and we're going to continue to do this until God tells us to stop.
That's right.
Chris, if you're going to you're going to bring us home, you got any pastor quippy things?
It's so funny.
I don't see you grinning.
I know.
So
I didn't think about it. I think that the good news is that Jesus is the perfect priest who can stand in the gap for all people.
Yeah, amen.
We hope today's episode has left you encouraged. If you have any questions about what was discussed, be sure to contact us through the show notes. A new episode drops every Monday, so we hope you will subscribe and join us each week as we learn to let faith transform our lives.